Hello there, Ben Bowers, the Spirit Specialist, and I just wanted to give everybody a quick reminder, the fact that our Benroamch 10-year-old competition is still on. There's still a few bottles left. This was just a little nudge to say that there's not many bottles left, so if you want to get in with a chance of winning the fantastic Benroamch 21-year-old, all you need to do is pick up a bottle of the 10-year-old from myself. Let me get it at the right way around so you can actually see the label. You might be able to see from the price ticket, I've actually taken £5 off a bottle, so normally £39.99 down to a fantastic £34.99. And once 40 bottles are sold, all the people that have bought a bottle of the 10-year-old will go into a prize draw, randomly generated once that 40th bottle is sold, and one person will win a bottle of 21-year-old worth £127.99. As a little added incentive, for the last few bottles that I've got, so anybody that buys a bottle from this point up to the 40th, you will also get one of these cool new Benroamch tumblers. You've got the logo just in the bottom there. It feels quite nice and weighty. It's quite a good shape as well. It's tapered for nosing, but it feels quite nice. It'd be really good for doing things like old fashions and stuff in there, as well as drinking Benroamch 10-year-old. What I thought I'd also do is give you a little indication of what the whiskies themselves taste like. So I do have a tasting bottle of the 10-year-old. Now this is the old packaging. The new one, let me just turn it around again so you can actually see it. Come on Ben, get your branding in gear. The new branding came into play last year, 2020. And this is what the bottle looked like. The liquid is exactly the same. Trust me on this, I used to work for the company that makes it. So the liquid is the same. So although I'm pouring it from a sample bottle that looks different, this is what you are going to get inside there. So Benroamch Speyside Distillery, just like I said, Elgin, owned by Gordon MacPhail. They are harking back to a Speyside style that used to be prevalent in sort of up to the mid to late 1960s. Speyside distilleries were malting the barley themselves up to that point. They were using local peat to dry the barley, and Speyside whiskies up to that point had an inherent smokiness, but we are not talking Islay smokiness. This is Highland peat from around the Aberdeenshire area. It's a lot softer, it's a lot lighter. You're not looking at an intense smokiness that you might find from the islands. The smokiness that's on here is quite low. They're using a little bit of peated barley, predominantly unpeated. For the techie nerds amongst you, which there are probably quite a few watching this, we're looking at about 8 to 12 ppm. So it's lightly peated, but it's very soft and subtle. But I'll try and quickly give you an indication of what this tastes like, and I'll also tell you what the 21 tastes like as well. So the 10-year-old, on the nose, there is a really soft smokiness that's up front, but it's not intense, it's really gentle. You get a lovely kind of malty character. There is toffee, there's caramel in there. Really inviting. It's like the smouldering embers of a barbecue. There definitely is like a sweet barbecuey smokiness on there. But it's like you've had a barbecue on a nice sunny day, which it is not out there at the moment, and it's about an hour after the barbecue's died down. So you still get that kind of slight glow from the coals on the bottom, but it's really settled down, and it's just that little waft of kind of sweet smokiness. Really, really inviting. And then on the palate, what's more on the nose, the smokiness, is more towards the background. You now start to get a real sherry influence coming through. There's sweet fruits, there's kind of like stewed prunes, there's orchard fruits in there. It makes for a really good finish as well. It definitely lingers, but it's still sweet, it's still soft. It really lingers on the finish, but it's that malty toffee kind of caramelly sweetness, richness, sherry element, that fruitiness, that dark fruit cake element that you associate, a lot of people will do, with Speyside whiskies. And then this thread of smoke comes through just at the end. Really soft, really, you know, if you don't like either whiskies, this is still going to be, you know, this is not in your face, this is not going to knock your socks off. It's really subtle. The marketing people at Benroamch call it a wisp of smoke, and they're really careful in terms of this is a wisp. It's very, very subtle indeed, but it's so drinkable. And what it does is it makes it for an interesting Speysider. There are a lot of Speyside whiskies out there that are not one note, but they're just kind of all the same. You know, there's malt, there's toffee, there's sherry, that's about it. But this little thread of smoke just makes things interesting. It makes things kind of like, ooh, what's going on here? It just lifts all the flavors, and it's there to actually draw the finish out. Absolutely fantastic stuff. 35 quid is an absolute bargain. To be honest, it's a good price at 39.99, but I've knocked another £5 off, and you get a glass as well. So Little treat for you. Let me also show you what the 21-year-old is like. So this was only released last year. It's the first time we've had a 21-year-old from Benroamch official. The distillery was bought by Gordon MacPhail in 1993. They didn't start distilling until 1998. So this is the reason why they've only just released a 21-year-old. Fully sherry casks, whereas the 10-year-old is bourbon and sherry casks. The Benroamch 21 is just sherry casks. So on the nose compared to the 10, the smokiness that's on the 10, that youthful kind of like younger spiciness and that barbecue smokiness, much more tempered down. What you're now getting is definite sherry elements. You're getting a lovely kind of light fruit cake. So not like a dark Christmas cake, but one of those kind of spongy fruit cakes. I think it's Kipling's Country House cake, where there's less kind of dark fruit in it and more of a cakey element too. And it just draws on forever. Oh, there are a lot of people that will say, I like a smooth whiskey. What does smooth mean? It's such a kind of complicated term that doesn't really mean much. But if you like a smooth whiskey, this is phenomenal. It's got loads of complexity to it. There is this sherry undercurrent all the way through, but you're getting soft baking spices, you're getting fruits, you're getting orchard fruits, then you start to go into raisins and sultanas. The smokiness is really, really subtle on this. It's prevalent on the 10 and it's obvious, although it is gentle, but it's definitely there. With the 21, it's much more in the background and it just kind of pops its head up to say hello and then dies back down again. But what it does is it takes all the flavors of what you would consider a classic 21-year-old space cider that's aged really, really well. You've got that big sherry element, you've got the fruit, you've got the spicy, but the soft spice, the kind of like nutmeg, cinnamon, that's very gentle baking spices, and it's lifting them all up just by having this undercurrent of really, really soft smoke. To win a bottle of this would be incredible, and you can win one. You've got a 1 in 40 chance of winning one just by buying a bottle of the 10-year-old. So not only do you get a fantastic whiskey with the Benroamch 10-year-old with a price cut, and if you're buying it from this point onwards, a free glass, you have a 1 in 40 chance, which is pretty damn good odds, of winning an absolutely fantastic bottle on top. Absolutely brilliant. So visit www.spiritspecialist.com. It's on the front page. There's a big banner and it's also on the highlighted products on the front page. Pick yourself a bottle up. Once I've sold that 40th bottle, all the names are going into a hat and I'll be randomly generating a name to get that 21-year-old sent. I'll do it live on Facebook or put it on YouTube or whatever, just so that everybody knows that I'm doing it absolutely properly. And yeah, that is what it tastes like and it's absolutely phenomenal. And I wish I could enter, but I can't because I'm the one selling it and I think it's illegal for me to do that, which is a shame. But somebody else can win it, so I'd be very happy for you. So.